Ron Moshier. Ron, I'm believing now that I am the jinx. Whitesboro gets crushed. I watched that game. Syracuse gets crushed. I watched that game. The Bills get crushed. I watched that game. Syracuse basketball wins Saturday night. I didn't watch that game. What's the common denominator here?
I think you're right, Bill. And hey, and on the same weekend, the Giants win.
And the Giants win.
Not that it means anything,
and
but
I didn't
they
watch
actually
that.
beat a good team, too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well,
it was that kind of weekend.
It was that kind of weekend. Blowout city, and Whitesboro just ran into a brick wall.
Oh, yeah. I have to say that I thought they were going into that game as an underdog just from everything I had read about and heard about West Seneca West. And let's face it, their two best players, Matt Myers, the quarterback who's going to University of Buffalo, and the wide receiver, Justin Johnson, two great athletes, and they both came from Bishop Timon High School, a private school in Buffalo. They transferred, and they obviously are the difference with that West Seneca West program, which had never won a section title. I had never, to be honest, in 30-some years, I had never heard of West Seneca West.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a West Seneca East too, but anyway,
no clue.
Those two players were the difference, Bill. Really. And let's face it. Hey, Whitesboro did drive the ball right down the field.
Yeah.
On their opening possession, and again, it turned out to be 42-6.
Yeah,
but if they score there, at least that is a little momentum, and they proved they could move the ball right away. But coming up empty there, and then giving up a couple of quick touchdowns in the span of minute 10 seconds, that really hurt.
Yeah,
it
happened.
Such a great momentum swing, and there was no recovering after that.
And Ron, but what a season Whitesboro had. They had struggles at a certain point during the season, and then really recovered. And to make it as far as they did, one game away from the state championship is pretty big.
Well, in my opinion, it's one of Tom Shane's greatest success stories. That's in my opinion, considering all the adversity they faced and. All the injuries, I've written about it, time and time again. Every week there was somebody else going down, either for the season or for a week or two. And what they managed to do and what they managed to accomplish with all those adjustments the coaching staff had to make, the players had to make, they moved guys around from position to position and still managed to win a third straight section title, a second straight regional title, and make it one game away from, the Carrier Dome finals. They're going to miss seniors like Bill Gilberti and the quarterback Dave Camrata and a lineman like Chris Pulowski, Declan Simmons at linebacker. But I still think, Whitesboro around here is still going to be a power next year. They got Zach Hogue coming back as a running back. Joey Panuccio will probably be the heir apparent at quarterback, and even though he's only probably 5'6", I think he's going to be electric next year too, running the football. Yeah. So, hey, you haven't heard the last of Whitesboro. I can tell you that I'm going to talk to him today about the season in the future. Tom Shane, 44 years, 275 wins, a Section 3 record that ranks, I think, in the top 5 in the state.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he'll be back or not. I ask him that. Unfortunately, that's my job. I have to ask him that every year. He probably gets tired of that because, there aren't many coaches who coach for 44 years anymore in any sport.
I'd say demanding high school football. Even high school football is extremely demanding.
Without a doubt, the hours you have to put in.
Yeah.
He's retired as a teacher now and has been for a few years, but still, he's got some great assistants, Curtis Schmidt, Kurt Hertham, who were Whitesboro stars. I did the preseason. The preseason feature was on their coaching staff, their homegrown coaching staff, and no matter what happens, a bunch of those guys will still be around, whether Tom stays or not. And I'll tell you, they bleed blue. You can tell. It's the same thing in Dowsville. Same thing in Dowsville. Dan Zilkowski and Brian Wilcox, his staff there, they're all homegrown, played in the state championship games. Guys like Rob Wine and Justin DeContis. there's some great parallels there between those two programs, whether it's big school or small school.
Bill in New Hartford has a question for you on high school football. Bill, you're on with Ron Moshier. Go ahead.
Hello, Ron. I was wondering, maybe I'm wrong, but isn't it unusual that they had the playoffs at the same stadium 2 weeks in a row, Union Endicott? I thought they used to go to someplace else one of those weeks.
And by the way, West Seneca had I'll let you listen to this off air, Bill. West Seneca had a far longer trip than Whitesboro had to this game.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's I'm sure there's bidding going on. Preseason, who's going to host what, and next year it rotates. Next year it'll be a Section 5 or Section 6 site. You'll go back to either the Rochester or Buffalo area for this round of the playoffs. So, it just rotates every year. Let's face it, hey, if Union Endicott, who played at home against Whitesboro, and Whitesboro beat them in the regional final, if Union Endicott had won that game, they would have back-to-back weeks of
home,
being at home.
It's crazy.
And I think that's, I hate to use the word fair, do I think that's right? Well, I don't know. It's questionable. I guess it's too much work, really, for the state to come up with a contingency plan. If Union Endicott wins, it's got to be played at somewhere else.
Yeah, call it on the fly. Could you imagine? I guess that's difficult to do. Ron, it's been a great season, and to have Whitesboro go so far, that was really cool. Dolgeville, of course, had a great year as well. And the next time we'll be talking about high school basketball and maybe a little wrestling.
Well, without a doubt, Bill, and I'll tell you, this shows everybody here, we, meaning Section 3, obviously still has a lot of work to do to win a state football title.
Yeah.
That's why it's so rare. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been a while for this area, obviously, and we've only had 2 state champions in football, and that's West Canada Valley 20 years ago, and then a few years after that, Dowsville, both in Class D. That's it. That shows you how difficult this is.
It is certainly competitive, and of course, losing. It wasn't a close game with in this semifinal game. It wasn't close.
No.
All right, Ron. Interesting. We appreciate it. Thanks so much, and thanks for all the coverage this season.
All right, thank you, guys.
Right.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy the week. Ron Moshier,
take care.
from the Observer Dispatch, utica OD.com.